Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and before we start talking about all things Ripple and or XRP, just a reminder that my sponsor Link2, which is linqto.com, they have Ripple private equity on the platform. You can also download their app in the App Store. Check it out. Okay, look at this. The FBI has arrested an Alabama man right next door to me. An Alabama man for hacking the SEC's account in January to post a fake Bitcoin ETF approval. You might remember this. This is what the person had posted, and it made I can't remember. It seems like it made Bitcoin go up a lot or something. Check this out. Gold has hit a new all-time high, 2,692. That's a good thing because I'm a gold owner and bug. Eleanor Tarrant says she heard back from the SEC this morning. According to the spokesman, the appeal is proceeding normally and the documents will be filed publicly soon. Brad Garlinghouse replied and said, proceeding normally for an agency that makes up their own rules as they go. In other words, they missed the filing deadline, but they just get to break the rules as they want to, and that's just that. More from Ripple Swell. This guy right here is Societe Generale. I don't know how to say that. Thomas Sullivan.
There is a legacy of trust that we've been able to build and establish with customers. And you need to have trust. You need to trust your parties, whether it be your technology providers, whether it be your custodians. You know, that's what we're definitely seeing is that customers want to be able to, have responsible parties that they can interact with, that they can, have that established trust. Most institutions' assets are in traditional finance today, and you want to have the experience where, you can see all of your assets in one place and, have that seamless experience.
By the way, if you hear this, it's because I got some wintergreen Tic Tacs this morning. So that's what that sound is. Stanley Druckenmiller, well, they're saying he's the GOAT, but right here it says that Brad Garlinghouse is the GOAT, with a GOAT. But here's Stanley Druckenmiller, billionaire. Both of them are billionaires, I guess. I think Brad Garlinghouse is a billionaire. Are you going to play for me?
Cycle and what you think the most likely scenario is and how you set up for it.
Well, it's an evolving situation. If you had asked me this 12 days ago, I would have said, I don't have a clue. It's in a total toss-up. I still don't have conviction who's going to win on the election. But as I said earlier, I like market indicators for the economy and for financial restrictiveness. I also like them for elections. I remember how right the market was on Ronald Reagan in 1980, despite what the pundits were saying. And I must say, in the last 12 days, the market and the inside of the market is very convinced Trump is going to win. You can see it in the bank stocks, you can see it in crypto, you can even see it in DJT, his social media company. But throughout the whole, I would say the industries that are deregulated, if we had deregulations, will benefit from Trump or outperform the others. So if you put a gun to my head, and thank God there's not one to my head, so this really doesn't matter, I would say that I would have to guess Trump is the favorite to win the election.
Boy, I hope he's right. And then this is something I just can't get my mind around. I don't understand why I'm driving down the road and I'm hearing Trump advertising Trump sneakers and Trump watches, and now we've got, in fact, I'm not even going to show this because it's like, why are you coming? I don't understand why they're trying to sell all. That's one part of this I don't like. I don't understand why Trump's trying to sell all this crap in the middle of running for president. It's like a distraction. I don't get it. They launched this world token. I even went on there to see if I could get some, and there was such a crazy accreditation process I didn't want to fool with. that I didn't do it. I was just going to see if I could scoop up $500 of his token real quick, but turns out the token sale's not going as planned. Matt Hoogan, I'm not going to play this either because it's a waste of time. He says that Ethereum is the contrarian bet in crypto, and I said maybe if you like betting on China, XRP Unleashed is coming. And Matt, unless you're a big pro-China guy, you might want to stay away from that one because there's a lot of stuff coming out on that. Okay, then Thinking Crypto, Tony had Brad Garlinghouse on while he was at Swell.
I doubt Tether may continue to grow, but I doubt it will have the same market share in 2 years, let's say. So I think there's an opportunity, and I think bringing more liquidity on chain, bringing more liquidity on the XRPL is good for everybody in the XRP ecosystem.
So there's talks of stablecoin legislation around the corner in the United States. Do you think it's going to have a similar shakeup like it did, well, the EU regulations did, where Tether may lose some share here, and that would be beneficial for RLUSD? Yeah,
I mean, look, I think it would be beneficial for all stablecoins that are compliance first, that take a regulatory first, a front foot towards regulation. I think RLUSD would be one example of that I think will do well, but not the only one. So I do think we will get legislation. Hard to know exactly when, but hopefully sometime the next year, given the election. It's hard to make predictions around that.
Sure.
All right, there's a few clips here. Here's another one.
Because Chair Gensler will not be the chair at some point soon. We can debate how soon, we can debate who will be next. But I think no matter who wins this election, I think Gary Gensler's days as the chair of the SEC are numbered. Because
his corrupt days. And then here's a final clip.
XRP serves a very compelling use case around payments, given its speed, given its low cost, given its scalability. I think you're going to have a lot of winners in the crypto world. I believe very much in a multi-chain world, and XRP will, I think, clearly be one of the winners in that ecosystem.
A while back, he said that he thought there would be scores of digital assets, and I think that number comes to, I think scores means like 20, maybe? I can't remember. I looked it up at the time. That's a wrap. Ripple Swell. Great to close things out, chatting with crypto OG Dan Pantera about the past 10 years, road ahead. The journey feels reminiscent of the early internet era, full of promise, innovation, and new use cases just beginning to unfold. Tonight, so they're done with Swell, but tonight they're doing XRP Community Night down in Miami. So that you can still register to get your spot. That might be worth checking out. Then I wanted to show you this. This is our old buddy Anthony Pompliano. You remember the guy that said that money is stored energy, and then he tried to sell pizzas. Well, here he's saying that Bitcoin is the modern day savings account. Stablecoins are the modern day checking account.
Or value, they're going to buy Bitcoin. Now, what's really interesting is Charlie Bolillo from Creative Planning put out this chart that over the last 30 years, the US dollar has lost 50% of its purchasing power. In one generation, people lost 50% of their purchasing power. They're going to look for other assets. Now, what I do think is important is that Bitcoin is not a threat to the US dollar. What we're seeing, and what the Andreessen report pointed out, is that actually what people are doing is they're using Bitcoin as a savings account. They're buying Bitcoin and they're holding it. They don't want to spend the Bitcoin, but they're starting to use these stable coins. And so stable coins now have hundreds of millions of users. And so just like in the traditional world where you have a savings account and you have a checking account, you never touch your savings account. That's what people are doing with their Bitcoin. It's the digital savings account. And then the stable coins are now your checking account to pay for your everyday expenses, goods and services, et cetera. And I think that by reducing the friction of switching between currencies, because now everything is digital, what you're now introducing is a multi-currency world, which historically hasn't been possible because to move from dollars to any other currency was incredibly expensive and difficult. Now we have a savings account in Bitcoin. Stablecoins are what you're going to pay for. And those two things are going to continue to ride. And stablecoins will be a huge bull market for the US dollar.
Okay, so the great masses of the unbanked, are you seeing Bitcoin become, I mean, if you have a phone, you can have a bank anywhere in the world. Is that, in the past, you've said, that's like fairy dust. Remember, these sort of, you sprinkle a little fairy dust. You've been in foreign countries and you
Right.
ask the guys, you got it in there. Like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you think, can you make the case that's actually happening?
I'll give you a
around
couple
the world, or is it just fairy dust?
Let me give you a couple of numbers. So there's two reports that recently came out. One, Nick Carter at Castle Island, they did a huge study with Brevin Howard, Visa, et cetera. And then there's a new guy who's the head of economics at Tether. They both put out a bunch of data. And so the data points were Tether claims that they have 330 million people on chain, not in centralized exchanges, on chain with Tether in those wallets. If you add in centralized exchanges, tens of millions more. So let's call it 400 plus million people just with Tether. Then Nick Carter, Visa, Brevin Howard went and they looked and they said 2 out of every 3 emerging market crypto users have converted stablecoins and their fiat currencies. So they're going back and forth between these assets. And then they also said that 40% of these emerging market crypto users have bought a good or service with stablecoins. Now, again, that is just crypto market emerging market users. So what is the percentage? That's a huge question. So if it's only 10% of a nation, you go and you talk to people on the ground, only 1 out of 10 people are going to say, hey, I've got stablecoin. But it is a very high penetration of usage for the stablecoins for the people who have them.
I got one thing to say, real USD. Now, folks, I want to show you something. I can't say what this is out here. We'll talk more about it in daixrp.com. But I want to show you something. That little clip where John Deaton called out Senator Warren for not doing anything to help the victims of the island guy has got, this is just one posting of the video from this guy, 313,000 views. I would tell you that this video now has been viewed millions of times. And it's because average people out there are sick and tired of these corrupt politicians not doing anything about punishing these elites who have committed all sorts of heinous crimes against innocent kids in many cases. John Deaton is the man to start bringing some real transparency back into politics. Massachusetts needs to throw the garbage out. I'll never forget the look on her face when he brought it. It was like the most defeated look on her face, like, oh shit, I gotta address this. So what I'm gonna do in DAIXRP, because tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern, John, here it is right here, 7 Eastern time, John, and he's got the C-SPAN link if you go to John's thing. He's gonna be debating her for the second and final time tonight. So in DAIXRP, first of all, I'm gonna show you what, not the island guy, but the party guy who just recently got in trouble. I'm gonna show you something that's happening with that right now. We're about to have another major shoe drop on that. But I'm also going to tell you, if I was John Deaton, here's what I would do. I wouldn't let that island guy thing go. I'd be like a dog with a bone. But I'm going to show you what the issues I would bring up. I would make, anyway, I'm going to, in DAIXRP.com, we're going to talk about that. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.